Hi everyone, I continue to work on my iOS budgeting app SpendBoard, and recently I was setting up analytics and error monitoring. So in today's video I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did and how, so let's get to it. But first, a quick announcement. Starting today, I'm opening the waitlist for early access to SpendBoard. You can sign up super easily on my website. I will put the link in the description below, and I'm really looking forward to having you on board. Alright, let's go. I believe every app, backend or frontend, needs error monitoring. But what is that? It's usually a library you install that sends you alerts when something goes wrong in your app. And for me, that is Sentry. I've been using Sentry for years, both at work and on my own projects. Basically, if your code crashes with some error, Sentry notifies you about that exact issue and gives you tons of context, like the line of code where it happened, environment info, or user ID, app version, and more. And you can actually customize what context you send, but I'll get to it a bit later. So SpendBoard has three environments: development, staging, and production. In development, I don't actually send any errors to Sentry. I capture them, but instead of sending, I just print them to the console. I have a little wrapper that, depending on the environment, either logs to console or forwards to Sentry. For staging and production, errors go straight to Sentry's dashboard under my project. So the example of an error that was caught by Sentry looks like that. There is a general description of the error. In my case it's called test, but usually it's called more specific, like index error or type error, so I hope you get the idea. Then there is a section that shows the exact place in your code that triggered that error. And further down there is the context data about the client, a user ID, some geodata, device type, its hardware, and many other cool columns with the data. So having all this information, you can track down the whole history of the error, and most importantly, you can understand what to do and where to fix that. And that is really useful for solo developers who do literally everything themselves. But there is one big thing we need to talk about, and it's user privacy. Tools like Sentry collect a lot of context by default, which is awesome for debugging and improving UX. But often that context includes private data like location, email, IP address, on top of technical details like iOS version or user ID. I don't need personal info, so I usually remove it from the payload. Some fields you can disable in Sentry's project settings. Others you have to manually remove in code. It is a bit of extra work, but it means you're not collecting sensitive data and you're respecting your users. And this is how I implemented the so-called data scrubbing of Sentry payload inside of my SwiftUI application. And I don't really know if this approach is the best one for removing the sensitive data from Sentry's payload, but I found it working for me. Okay, let's dive into analytics. SpendBoard is my first mobile app, but I've been a web developer for almost 8 years, and I've used Amplitude, Segment, Mixpanel, and other tools for analytics. I wanted to have analytics before launch of my app, so I could spot pain points early and improve the user experience right away. And I chose PostHog because of its rich feature set and, let's be honest, generous free tier, which is just perfect for a solo developer. So what I'm going to track? My top priority is retention. I want to know if users actually come back after their first session. I also want to know if people use the core features like creating accounts, adding incomes, and of course login transactions. And that is really all I care about for now. And again, with analytics, usually you get detailed context by default. So I spent a few hours stripping out personal data from the PostHog payload like city, IP address, even latitude and longitude in my Swift code. In the PostHog dashboard, I added a filter for time zone, and in the project settings, I turned off IP collection. So once the SpendBoard beta kicks off, I'll be watching the analytics and probably I'll be making some decisions based on that. And hopefully those decisions would be useful for users. And I'm genuinely excited about this and I really hope to get some feedback from users so I can fix issues and make their experience smoother as soon as possible. So when a user makes an action, for example running the app, you can trigger an event that tracks that action. And this is how a PostHog event looks like. It has data about users like their ID, their phone, iOS version, the app build and other information. As you can see, there is no personal data here already because I previously removed it, but still this data is really useful. So based on such app launch events, you can understand how often the same user opens your app. And similarly, you can create an action that is called transaction log, and you can trigger it every time when the user creates a new transaction. And also you can cover all other important user actions to understand a user's needs and maybe the places where they stop using the app. At least that is how I'm going to use the analytics for my mobile app. But if you have an experience with mobile apps analytics and you see that I'm doing something stupid, please let me know in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this interesting or helpful, feel free to subscribe and hit the like button. I'm heading back to coding now, and have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.